Hello, welcome to episode 2 of the podcast. If you thought that Miles was the host, you're wrong. It's me this time. This time, I'm back grilling Miles about his security practices and security practice not only at Endgrate, but also in day-to-day life. I guess we can just reintro ourselves real quick. I'm William. I'm the co-founder of Endgrate. This is Miles. Miles, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also the co-founder. I'm Miles. And we're here to talk about security.
So we have a great relationship with security. We love security.
Fantastic. I love security.
Miles is a big security buff. He always tells me about the latest security things and stuff that I shouldn't be doing. And I should know better because I've literally done security research and I'm pretty good at it myself, but I need to practice what I preach, as Miles says. So let's get started, Miles. What is the worst pet peeve or the top pet peeve that you have of people that aren't in security? You look at someone do this and you just like cringe and you just want to like slap them in the face. What is that for you?
I feel like it's pretty obvious. It's a pretty obvious answer, but I still have to say it because so many people do it. But many people put database credentials just in plain in their code and push it to GitHub. And that's a bad security practice.
Oh yeah, that is definitely the worst, especially when the repositories are public and those database credentials are there. They're just, waiting to get swooped up by some people. So
Nefarious actors, yeah.
By some incredibly nefarious actors that, just write some regex and just get access to your entire system. So that's definitely something that you should look out for. Great answer.
Yeah, definitely use those environmental variables.
Yes. And pro tip is if you're using an EMV file, don't also push that
to GitHub. Yeah, that's even worse.
Do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, yeah, these are some basic security practices. Okay, now what about your obsession with Signal? I don't know if you guys know this, but I had to download this app called Signal just to talk with Miles and call him. And I think he's like infamous, just across his entire network for having his friends and family all download this single to talk to him. So what's your decision? What's your thought process behind that? I've just boycotting Gmail and iMessage and any other sensible app.
I've honestly just sort of fallen in love with the Signal protocol. It's just beautiful. The encryption. I used to do a lot of basically just playing with open source encryption code. And if you actually go and look into how they do encryption, every single message uses its own key and it rotates seamlessly and it just works. And I really admire the Signal Foundation. It's one of the better, I think, designed encryption messengers that I've ever seen. And it's free. It's just wild.
It's also broken on my Windows instance right now.
Their desktop apps are
so long.
Horrendous.
To send you
horrendous.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much you can ask from them. They have the protocols down. The apps, they do run into some issues. I mean,
it is free. And at least it's not a Meta product.
Yes.
You can agree that Meta. Well, why not iMessage though? Like that's an Apple product.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. But even though iMessage is encrypted, the iCloud backups are not encrypted unless you turn on advanced data protection, which effectively nobody but me does. So even if you have an encrypted sending and storage on the device, when it gets backed up, it's not encrypted. And that just kind of defeats the purpose of having an encrypted messenger.
Can't have those 1 week expirations that we set on the Signal, so that anytime I'm trying to remember something that I text you, I better remember that in a week, or else it's just gone into the ether, I guess.
Yep, it's the best way to work. Only remember what's important. Everything else doesn't matter. If you can't remember it, did it really matter?
And back when we were at Harvard, you had this separate phone. So I understand you have a little a prop to show us today.
I do. I really enjoy the Pixel with Graphene OS combination, which is it's a hardened form of Android, which I just used to play around with. I actually used it for a year religiously. I got rid of my iPhone for a year, but I
Wait,
got
you
rid of
actually
my
got rid of your iPhone?
I got rid of my iPhone for a year and just used Graphene OS, which is
Wait, when was this?
a
I don't know. This is
very
the first time you're telling me.
this was senior year of high school when I was just I don't know. I made some strange decisions then, but I just got rid of my iPhone completely. And because Graphene OS genuinely has no app support until recently, they had Google. You can like install Google as like a thing, but before that, I didn't want to do that. That would kind of defeat the purpose of having an encrypted phone. But effectively, like nothing works. You can't have bank apps because they can detect you're not on stock Android and they just break. Password managers don't autofill doesn't work in the browser, so you have to copy from your password manager if you even use that. It's honestly it was a pretty terrible experience, but it was very fun. And I'm very impressed with the encryption and security of the phone. They need a little work on the usability. After a year, I just wanted for my main communications, I needed the iPhone, but I still have it, so I still play with it every once in a while and catch up. Recently, they actually added autofill support to Vanadium, their browser, which
Wow,
one day
so
maybe I'll convince you. We'll switch
that's
over.
so innovative. Wow. You know what this reminds me of? It's like you're that guy on Survivor that just like purposely like lives out into the wilderness just because he doesn't want to touch 5G internet. That's kind of like I
You're
can draw some
laughing. You're
parallels
laughing,
here.
but one of the features of Graphene OS is you can disable 5G because it has extra and 4G, and you can
You
just
disable the
use.
X-rays, right?
No,
You have
it's
to
because
like cover the phone in
there's
tinfoil.
extra code. There's extra code in 5G that isn't in 4G for tracking you.
Gotta remove that. Can't have that with us. And my other comment about that, because this is the first time that you told me this. This is why you watch YouTube Shorts. Like this is literally why you watch YouTube Shorts, because you had no experience with like any other like Instagram Reels, TikTok.
No,
Like you were stuck with YouTube Shorts.
I
You were
couldn't download
literally
any of the
stuck with
apps.
YouTube Shorts.
I couldn't download any of the apps for a year because it literally just wouldn't work because they all and also for emails there's no notifications because on Android all the notifications are from Google. They're like so you just have no notifications unless
So there's just
Signal.
no notification feature.
No, unless it's built into the app. So I had two apps that had notifications. One was Signal, which is why I like it so much. It was the only way I could get notifications, and like some Fair Email. It's like an email client, and those were the only two apps that had notifications on my phone.
I'm flabbergasted. This is news to me, and I like know you. Now you're
Yeah.
just telling me this. Like you're actually like, oh, good. You definitely practice what you preach, but it seems like you have already fallen somewhat to the dark side. To
No,
switching back to
honestly,
iPhone.
I try to keep my iPhone clean, but it's a lot harder. I do have advanced
Oh
data
yeah,
protection on,
that's good.
but
That's good.
yeah, you
Remember,
kind of need it
yeah.
to actually integrate into society a little more.
Remember Movad, the
Oh
one
yeah,
that
I
they paid
love
for,
Molvad. Fantastic service. It's
the VPN that
basically
I still have on my phone.
for anyone who doesn't know, Molvad is one of the, if not the best VPN service because you can just pay them and you give them no personal information. There
Beautiful.
you go. Yeah, I shared that with you. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's you. I love all the privacy services. I'm pretty deeply integrated into that world.
Are you comfortable sharing how you obtained this VPN subscription?
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't anything actually nefarious. I used to, I mean, I guess I used to mine like using nice hash, which probably is terrible for privacy, but they paid well during like the peak of the like mining craze. You could get like $20 a day from like a 5-year-old, 3-year-old graphics card. And so I'd mine on nice hash and then I'd take that because you get paid in Bitcoin and I'd convert it to Monero, which is just the greatest thing ever. The encrypted cryptocurrency. But nobody uses it. because it's so private. No exchange actually can like support it legally. But you take that and you pay MOLVAD, and then you can have the VPN.
So we got some really set, doomsday devices set up.
Yeah,
All right.
just for fun.
Well,
In case anyone's listening.
Well, it looks like you're huge on security, which, was already very well established. But I'm very glad that all of your thinking processes have been ingrained in the design and the architecture of the Endgrate application. Why don't you talk a little bit about security for Endgrate?
Yeah, I put as much encryption into that thing as basically as we could fit, everything including the kitchen sink. But yeah, it's we encrypt everything we can. We delete information as soon as possible. We use TTLs everywhere. As soon as something isn't needed, we remove it. We individually encrypt data and also store it in an encrypted database. We use, HTTPS obviously, and any secure socket layer that
CSRF.
you can. Yes, CSRF protection.
Big on CSRF, even when it's
I
super
love
annoying.
CSRF. It's
even
terrible.
when it's super annoying to develop with, we have CSRF protection. What else do we have?
I mean, there's every standard practice.
So many encryption things.
Yeah.
At rest in transit. What else? What other?
I mean, I can talk.
I just did the rotating keys thing for.
Yep. Rotating keys for the sign up. Yeah, I mean, I could talk a little bit about Fernit. It's one of the libraries we use for encryption, and it's probably one of my favorites. It's just a really easy Python library for encryption. Fernit box. Yeah,
we'll make sure to give it a star on GitHub.
I already have.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm sure.
This.
Okay, well that's definitely interesting. I try to avoid saying that's interesting, but that is interesting. And that's very commendable and formidable and respectable that we're so.
I appreciate that.
So if you're giving data to us, either you're requesting data from us, or if you're, pushing out data into our servers, rest assured it is as safe and sound as it could be, guarded by the wonderful code of our security prowess. All right. Thanks so much, Miles. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Goodbye,
everyone. Have a good day.
Yeah, have a great day. And we'll see you on the next podcast where we'll actually bring a guest on and interview them. That's not either me or you. Okay. But here's to a start of a good podcast series. All right.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.